So in morning class only we have seen the different conformations of the cyclohexane molecule. So in that we have discussed this is a view of the structure from the carbon point of view. This is the staggered conformation and this one will be the eclipsed conformation. Now, uh, so the diagram itself gives us the idea about the staggered conformation is more stable than the eclipsed conformation. So while these conformations are changing itself, so there will be conformation of the cyclohexane. The eclipsed interactions can be renewed slightly if the two sides, that is carbon-carbon bond, twist relative to each other. So when there will be a formation of the boat conformation, so the carbon-carbon which are at the equatorial, they will twist, they will change their conformation structure. So this carbon atom will rotate upper side and this carbon atom will rotate about its downward side. So there will be the twisting of the boat will be taken place. That's why this flat pole interaction will be really between these two hydrogen atoms as they are going to repel the structure, as they are going to change the conformation of the molecule. So this boat conformation will be twist slightly and he is going to form the twist boat conformation, which although not as low in energy as the chair, this is going to have the low energy as compared to the boat conformation, slightly lower than the boat conformation, but as not much like that of the chair conformation. So this forms is lower in energy as like that 4 kilojoule per mole than the boat form, and it is a local energy minimum, as we shall see later that he is going to have slight lower amount of energy than the boat conformation. A cyclohexane molecule has two stable conformers basically and majority of the bases, that are chair and the twist boat conformation. These two conformations are stable as compared to the another four conformation. The chair form is approximately, it is going to have a 21 kilojoule per mole of lowest energy than that of the twist boat conformation. So these slides which is in front of you will give the different conformations of cyclohexane molecule. The whole inversion process can be broken down into the conformations which we have given here. Now the green arrows which are there in the slide, see here, these are the shows the direction in which these individual carbon atoms they are going to move in order to get the next conformation. So these arrow in the arrow direction, or these arrows will depict the arrow in which direction the carbon is going to move and change the structure of that conformer. So this carbon is moving downward and the second carbon atom will moving upward. So he's going to twist the chair conformation and it is converted into an half chair conformation. So these two carbon atoms which are at the terminal sides of the structure will form a weak hydrogen bonds. Then this chair conformation again it will the second carbon atom move upward and this third is again moving downward, so they will form a twist boat conformation. This twist boat conformation is stable as compared to the half chair conformation, as it is going to have the low energy than the half chair conformation, but it is not stable as much as chair conformation. Now again this will move in this direction to form again the half chair conformation of different carbon atom, and it will again regain and it will again convert it into the chair conformation. So the energy profile diagram for these ring inversions and the change of the conformation shows that the half chair conformation of the energy maximum, see here. So these half chair conformation is going to have the energy maximum level in the energy profile diagram on the going from the chair to the twist boat conformation. When this chair conformation will moving towards the to attain the less stable conformation, that is twist boat. So while it is going to convert to the twist boat, that is less stable conformation, that compared to the half chair conformation, it is going via formation of the half chair conformation. So the true boat conformation is the this one. This true boat conformation is it is an intermediate level in between the two twist boat conformation of different two carbon atom. So the true boat conformation is the energy maximum in between these two twist boat conformation, interchanging between the two mirror images of twist boat conformation. These two twist boat conformations which are forming in between the change in the conformation. So these both of them are mirror images. But while these mirror images are formed, there is slight energy maxima is formed during this process of conversion of first twist boat conformation to the second twist boat conformation, and it is converted into a true boat conformation, which is slightly having energy maxima than that of the two twist boat conformations of mirror images of each other. Now, the second of which is converted to the other chair conformation, then the second twist boat conformation is again converted to the second chair conformation via formation of the again one more half chair conformation. Now, this is all about the uh, conformations of the cyclohexane molecule if they are unsubstituted. But there are conformations of the molecule which is under study for the substituted cyclohexanes also. Now, this cyclohexane can be substituted either mono-substituted and di and poly-substituted also. But for syllabus point of view, we are going to discuss only the conformations of the mono-substituted molecule and di-substituted molecule. Now, for the substituted cyclohexane molecule, in the case of mono-substituted cyclohexane, there is existence of two different chair conformations. Now already in the case of cyclohexane molecule, we have seen that when it is moving through the energy barriers between the conversion of chair to half chair, then twist boat, true boat, twist boat, again half chair, and the chair conformation. So this is moving in that manner. So, but in the case of mono-substituted cyclohexane molecule, there is existence of only two different chair conformations. One with the substituent, if the substituent it is in the axial position, and the other substituent which is at the equatorial position. So this is the position of the substituent which is in front of you is the axial position of the substituent, and if this substituent is below the plane of the ring, it is see, this is the equatorial position of the substituent. So these two only conformations can be seen with respect to the mono-substituted cyclohexane molecule. The two chair conformers will be in the rapid equilibrium. Both the conformers of the substituted cyclohexane molecules are in the rapid equilibrium by the process of conversion or change in the conformer of the molecule. But they will not have the same amount of energy. As they are continuously interchanging, they will change the position of their substitutions, either axial or equatorial, but they didn't have the same amount of energy. In almost all the case, the conformer with a substituted, if the conformer which is there at the axial position is higher in energy, which means that there will be less of this form will be present in the equilibrium. So this axial position substituent is going to have a more amount of energy than that of the equatorial position or equatorial substituent position. Now, for example, if we are talking about the methyl substituted cyclohexane, that is methyl cyclohexane, the conformer of methyl group, if it is at axial position, so it is at 7.3 kilojoule per mole, which is higher in energy than the conformer if the methyl functional group it is at equatorial position. So the energy difference which is corresponding to it is at 20:1 ratio, which is at equatorial position. So the axial conformers at 25 degrees centigrade, there are two reasons why the axial conformers are going to have the higher amount of energy than the equatorial positions. Why these axial substituted cyclohexane molecules are going to have higher amount of energy than the equatorial conformer? So the reason behind that, the first one is the axial conformer is destabilized by the repulsion between the axial groups. Now, so the diagram which is in front of you, these are the two axial hydrogen atoms, and this is the substituent, that is methyl, which is substituted. So there is always repulsion between these axial hydrogens as well as substituent. So these two axial hydrogen atoms on the same side of the ring. The first reason behind high energy of the axial substituent is that axial conformer is higher in energy than the equatorial because of the presence of repulsion between the axial group of substituent atom and the axial groups of hydrogen atom, which is at generally first and third position, is known as 1,3 diaxial. So this 1,3 diaxial and this substituent is going to have continuous repulsion in between them. So due to this 1,3 diaxial interaction with that of the substituent molecule, that is X, it get larger and this interaction become more severe, and there is less of the conformer, or this there is less of the stability of the conformer if it is there at the axial position. And the second reason behind why the equatorial position is going to have the high amount of energy is the second is that equatorial conformer of the carbon and methyl functional group bond is anti-periplanar to the carbon-carbon bond. While for the axial conformer, the carbon and methyl bond, or the carbon and substituent bond, is synclinal, that is Gauchy to the two carbon-carbon bonds. So the equatorially substituted cyclohexanes, the black bonds are anti-periplanar. See here, the lateral entry carbon is going to form the bond with the front carbon atom. So these all bonds, if they are at the equatorial position, which are shown in the black color, so these are the anti-periplanar bonds. And here, in the case of equatorial position, the black bonds shown here are the synclinal or the Gauchy bonds. So here only one pair of the bond which is there in the case of synclinal, and here the two pairs of the bonds are there in the anti-periplanar positions. So the table which is in front of us will shows us that the preference of number of substitution cyclohexane molecules for the equatorially substituted conformer with respect to the axially substituted conformer and their stability order. Now, if we are going to compare the constant of changing the conformer from axial substitution to the equatorial substitution, that time we can calculate the equilibrium constant for the conversion of axial conformer to the equatorial conformer. And this calculation, that is key equilibrium constant of conversion of axial conformer to the equatorial conformer is equal to concentration of the equatorial conformer divided by the concentration of axial conformer. So in this way, we can calculate the value of K, which is nothing but the ratio of concentration of axial conformer with respect to the calculation of concentration of axial conformer. So if we are going to substitute these many different functional groups in a molecule, and if we are calculating the equilibrium constant of these values in terms of percentage, so hydrogen is going to have 50%, methyl, ethyl, propyl is going to have majority of the bases, 95 to 99% of the substituent equatorials in the case of mono-substituted cyclohexanes. Now, the three columns in the table are three different ways of expressing the same information. So here, the first column we have expressed the equilibrium constant of different substituents. In second column, we have expressed that the energy difference between the axial and equatorial conformers. And in third column, we have described the percentage value of with the substituent if it is at equatorial position. So just looking at the percentile column of the values, it is not immediately obvious to see that more of the equatorial conformers there is, after all, the percentage of equatorial conformer for methyl, ethyl, isopropyl, tertiary butyl, and phenyl molecules, they are quite similar. So the amount of equatorial conformer present does not increasing in the order of methyl is less than ethyl to the tertiary butyl. But they are not quite as expected. The ethyl group must be physically larger than that of the methyl group. But there is hardly any difference in the equilibrium constant of these values with respect to the different substituent groups. So in the case of this diagram, we can see that they are going to have the similar percentile values if they have different type of substitution. So this is all about if the ring is substituted, that is mono substituted cyclohexane. That time we have taken an example of methyl cyclohexane. But what happens if the cyclohexane molecule is going to have more than one substituent on the ring? So when there are two or more substituents on the ring, that stereoisomer is possible with respect to the cyclohexane molecule. See, in the case of conformation only, we have seen that conformer is going to have only change in the shape of the molecule, but configuration or change in the configuration of the structure will form the stereoisomers. But see here, when we are talking about the di-substituted cyclohexane molecules or the more substituted cyclohexane molecules, where we can synthesize or where we can prepare the stereoisomer is also possible. For example, if we are talking about, there are two isomers of 1,4-cyclohexane diol in the one form, which is present in cis isomer, in which both the substituents are either above the plane of the ring or below the plane of the ring. So in the case if it is above the plane of the ring, that is cis isomer, and if it is below the plane of the ring, one which is above and one which is below, it is trans isomer. So the ring of the second, that is for the cis 1,4 disubstituted cyclohexane with both the substituents. So the ring inversions leads to the second identical conformer, while for the trans configuration there is only one conformation with both groups, that is axial and with the equatorial. So this is a diagram showing us that if in the case of 1,4-cyclohexane diol, both the hydroxyl group occupy the position on the upper side of the cyclohexane, that is axial position. That is, both the hydrogen atoms occupy the positions on the lower side. If both the hydroxyl group will occupy the upper side, the hydrogen or remaining hydrogen atoms, both the hydrogen atoms will occupy the lower side. So in this case, the hydroxyl group is above the plane of the ring, and he is going to, or they are going to show the two conformation structures. But in the case of 1,4-cyclohexane diol, that is trans conformation, the conformer with the both hydroxyl groups are on the opposite side. So the ring inversion taken place, but both of them are going to have the same, the more stable conformer with that of the hydroxyl group if it is at the trans position than the cis position. Now, the chair conformation of the cis 1,4 substituted cyclohexane as one substituent equatorial and another one substitution which is 1,3 disubstituted. So above these are, there is no problem because of favored conformation will still be one that which place these two different substituents. So in this case also, the trans diastereomer is preferred conformation than that of the cis conformation. So this is all about the conformational analysis of cyclohexane molecule, its energy profile diagram, conformational analysis of the monosubstituted cyclohexane molecule, and the conformational analysis of the disubstituted cyclohexane molecule.